The story that should never be told. There are stories that entertain. There are stories that scare. And then, there are stories that change the people who hear them. This is not a legend you'll find in books. It was never meant to survive. Every copy was supposed to be destroyed. Yet somehow, you are listening to it now. They used to say the story had a life of its own, that it grew, that it fed, and when it was done with you, it erased you. This is the rise and the fall of the most notorious horror story ever created. Part 1. The Birth of a Monster. Ethan Crowe was a nobody, 34 years old, living in a decaying apartment in upstate New York. Rejected manuscripts stacked like gravestones against the wall. He didn't want fame. He wanted immortality. Ethan believed stories had power, real power, ancient power. The kind shamans and cults once used to reshape reality. And one night, while researching forbidden folklore, Ethan found something he shouldn't have. A fragmented manuscript, no author, no origin, only a warning written in dried brown ink. Do not complete this story. If you finish it, it will finish you. Ethan laughed and kept reading. The first sentence. The manuscript was incomplete, pages missing, paragraphs torn apart. But the structure was there, like bones. The story wasn't meant to be read. It was meant to be experienced. Each reader mentally filled in the missing parts. And those parts came from their deepest fears. Ethan rewrote it, refined it, gave it a beginning. The first sentence read, "If you are reading this, it already knows your name." Ethan felt a chill, but he smiled. The story was working. The rise. Ethan posted the story online under a fake name. No promotion, no marketing. Within 48 hours, it exploded. Readers reported the same things. Nightmares, hearing whispers after reading, feeling watched, seeing shadows that didn't belong to anyone. Comments flooded in. This story followed me into my dreams. I swear my phone rang with no caller after reading. This isn't fiction. Please take it down. But downloads increased. The story wasn't just being shared, it was being spread. The first death 3 weeks later, a college student in Oregon was found dead. No signs of struggle, no drugs, no illness. On his laptop screen, the story, open to the final paragraph. The coroner ruled it a heart attack. But the student's roommate told police something disturbing. He kept saying the story was watching him, that it was waiting for him to finish reading. The story that feeds Ethan began to realize something was wrong. The story was changing. Paragraphs he didn't remember writing appeared. Descriptions became more vivid, more personal. It started addressing readers directly. You looked behind you just now, didn't you? And they did. Ethan wasn't controlling the story anymore. The story was writing itself. The entity buried deep within the manuscript was a presence. Not named, not described, only referred to as the listener. The listener existed only when the story was read aloud or silently. It fed on attention, fear, belief. The more people read, the stronger it became, and it wanted to be known. The fall begins. Readers start disappearing. Reports surfaced worldwide. People who finished the story vanished. No bodies, no clues, just empty rooms. And the story open on their devices. Governments dismissed it as mass hysteria. But underground forums knew the truth. They called it the living story. Ethan tries to destroy it. Ethan deleted the original file, but copies remained. He begged platforms to remove it. New versions appeared, translated, expanded, improved. The story was evolving. Ethan received one final message from an unknown account. You gave me a voice, now I need a body. Part 5. The final reading. The last recording. Ethan locked himself in his apartment. He began recording an audio version of the story. His plan: end it incorrectly, corrupt the narrative, starve the entity. But halfway through the recording, his voice changed. Whispers overlapped his speech. Something else was speaking through him. The recording ends with Ethan screaming, "Stop listening!" Silence. Aftermath: Ethan Crow was never found. The recording leaked. Listeners reported the same symptoms as readers. The story no longer needed text, only attention. Epilogue. Why you shouldn't have listened. The story still exists. Not in one place, not in one form. It adapts, and now you know about it, which means it knows about you. If you feel watched tonight, if you hear whispers when the room is silent, don't worry. That just means the story is still rising, and it hasn't reached your ending yet.